Hey, what's up, gun nuts? It's Ferrari Steve, and today I'm going to do a product review of the gunsmithertools.com Pistol Pal. Now, if you've got a Ruger Mark 1, 2, or 3, and you don't have one of these, you need your head checked, because this makes owning one of these guns just so much easier. I'm going to demonstrate, but first, let's do a safety check. We're going to eject the magazine, put it aside, pull it open, make sure we'll visually and manually inspect, and the gun is clear. Now, point it in a safe direction and dry fire it. That's the first step. And let's get to step one of this 4-step tool. This tool has 4 functions, and the first one is going to come in handy and probably be worth it even if it didn't do anything else. And that is for pulling back this lever for the mainspring housing assembly here. Now, you'll see a lot of times on these guns, not on mine, mine's actually really clean, but you'll find on these older Mark 1s, someone's taking a screwdriver to kind of get in there and pry this lever out. You're never going to get in there with your fingernail and pull it out. You'll snap your fingernail right off. So the first great function of this tool is this little stainless steel loop here that's securely fastened in there. Just put it behind there and give it a little tug. And look at that. It's out super easy with no damage. You'll see no damage on there at all to the gun. Boy, this just alone for saving your finish is worth it. So that's step one. So let's take this out. Oh, step two is actually right here. Right here you've got this pin, and if it doesn't come out easily, this is designed as a punch. And look how it's rounded. It's concave right here at the tip of the Pistol Pal, and that's designed to match up right there and be a punch to come through there. And mine would have just pulled straight out, but you can use that with a hammer if you need to just kind of break that free, right? So take your mainspring housing out. Now let's see if my bolt wants to come out on its own. No, it does not. So we're gonna maybe wiggle it, see if it comes out. Sometimes you can just wiggle it or play with the trigger, but it's always what's causing that is the hammer. So we just need to move the hammer down, out of the way. Let's try that. No, not quite. Let's move the hammer strut right there. There we go. It's the hammer strut here that gets caught behind that pin, and that'll stop it from pulling out. So now we've got our bolt assembly out. Comes step two. Get your Pistol Pal, unscrew this top part, and inside a neat little pin, perfect for removing your extractor. You can slide it in either side of your extractor here, right? And it just pushes that plunger and spring down so you can grab that extractor. You put it on either side, it'll function just as nicely. So I like to put it in one hand, push it down, and if your extractor is really loose and falls out, some of them will, mine doesn't, so you'll have to push it down till it's no longer right there. It's no longer right there. It's no longer capturing, and then you can use pliers to just grab it and pull it right out there. There we go. There's our extractor. And then you can use this to pull up on the bottom of your extractor spring and the plunger there. And it's out. Clean it all up, ready to put it back together. You put your spring and your plunger back into its perfect slot there. Put it in the right position. And then use this tool again to just press it down. Hold it in place. And you don't need any tools. You can just slide your extractor right into the right spot there. And once it finds, easier said than done apparently, right? Sometimes if this gets too centered, it kind of blocks itself, so you got to make sure you've got this little extractor tool on the edge so you've got room for the extractor to fit in next to it. There was my problem. That feels a lot better. And then you just slowly bring it up and let that extractor be captured by that plunger and spring again. Look at that. Very nice. So you'll never be able to get that out that easily without something like this. So this is a really important part to keep clean and functional on your Ruger Mark 1, 2, or 3, especially with really dirty 22 caliber ammo. So keeping that clean is really important. All right, let's put this bad boy back together. Make sure that your hammer is not in the way of your bolt going back in, right? Get your bolt assembly, line it up, slide it back in. Put it down. Now, here's the tricky part. This hammer strut inside there, see him? It's right here, this little baby here. He likes to cause lots of problems when you're field stripping well, when you're reassembling for sure, a Ruger Mark 1, 2, or 3. What you've got to do is have it down far enough that you can get this pin back up in to the bolt, but you want it high enough that it's going to catch right here, because it lives and slides in this little groove, because this is the mainspring right there. So it slides into this groove and sits right there, and that's what gives you the springy feel, which I'll demonstrate in a minute. So I like, and it depends on how kind of loose and machined your hammer strut is. If it will kind of shake down freely, which mine doesn't, then you're kind of in better shape. But here I just put it down all the way so it's out of the way, and I stick this back up in so that it, we'll line it up so it pops back up the top here, right? And then we want this, I'll make sure, there we go. There, it's popped back in. Again, I know I have my rule that you don't really force anything on a gun. With a Ruger Mark 1, sometimes you never force it, but you kind of give it a little more love than sometimes it otherwise would need, right? So here's the tricky part. It's getting this down, and I like to make sure I pull the trigger to make sure I can get that down in there. You want that to catch and ride right in there. So here's done wrong. When I do that, there's no springiness, right? See that? I can't push on it and get any spring action. That means that hammer strut is not in that right place. It's probably back like that. So you kind of got to go grab it and pull him out. So he's just kind of touching, let's see that on camera, there we go. Touching up against there. So when you close this, it grabs it, and then, see, you get a little bit of springiness. When I push down, it pulls back up. That means I'm in the right spot. So I can just close my little latch here, and I'm good to go. Now, that was only 3 steps, right? We have the latch removal, and we had the extractor little pin, we had the punch. But what is number 4? Number 4 is for your magazine. See this little loop here? So let's take a few rounds out of our magazine here. This is for grabbing onto this little knob here. And you pull down, and it makes loading these things a whole bunch easier. Look at that. You're not digging your thumb anymore. Look at that. So there you go. The 4-function gunsmithertools.com pistol pal. These are not expensive. I bought mine a long time ago, so I don't really know how much they are now. I'd be shocked if they're more than 20 or 30 bucks. Even at 50 bucks, it's worth it just to save this part of your gun and save your sanity in doing some of the regular maintenance that a Ruger Mark 1, 2, or 3 is going to require. So this is Ferrari Steve, reminding you that a dirty gun is a happy gun, and then you get to clean it and you're happy. Get out there and practice. Use the right tool for the right job. I love this little pistol pal. If you have a Ruger and don't have one of these, like I said, you need your head checked. It's just the perfect tool for a really cool gun. Get out there, use your guns, practice, 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 so that the first time you have to use your gun is not the first time you have used your gun. Stay safe out there.